Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, February 13th meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. We do begin each of our meetings with an invocation, and today we have Jean Hamilton with USA Watch Prayer Network to lead us. Please join if you would like.
Thank you, Chair Brummer. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, I come before you today with thanksgiving and praise for our great nation of America, the state of Colorado and El Paso County, all of which you have blessed with bountiful resources. I thank you as well for the freedoms and constitutional protections you have afforded us in our democratic government of the United States of America. As citizens of this great nation, may we all continue to appreciate and engage in our civic duty to preserve our rights and freedoms. Heavenly Father, your word instructs us to pray for our leaders, and today I bring the county commissioners of El Paso County before you. I pray for Commissioner Holly Williams, Commissioner Carrie Geithner, Commissioner Stan Vanderwerf, Commissioner Lajinos Gonzalez Jr., and Commissioner Cammie Brummer. And I'd like to also add Clerk to the Board Bridget Rowe, County Administrator Brett Waters, County Attorney Kenneth Hodges, my dear friends Chuck Browerman and Steve Schleicher, and District Attorney Allen. Those are the ones I know. I ask that you grant them godly wisdom to carry out their duties, grant them great strength, stamina, and strategy in performing the challenging tasks before them as they represent their constituents and steward well the abundant resources that you have blessed El Paso County with. I pray for each commissioner's family and ask that you watch over and protect all of them during these turbulent times. Today, may each commissioner know their work does not go unnoticed and that they are accomplishing much good for the people they have been elected to serve. I pray that you bless and keep these faithful servants, make your face shine upon them, and give them great peace. Amen.
Thank you. Clerk Schleicher, Steve Schleicher, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much.
Item number 3.
Item number 3 is staff emergency items, and there are none.
And before we move on to item number 4, I'm going to we need a motion to excuse 2 commissioners today.
I move to excuse Commissioner Vanderwerf and Commissioner Gonzalez.
Second.
That has been moved and seconded. They are attending a conference in Washington, D.C. on behalf of all of us, the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference. So that has been moved and seconded. I'll call the roll. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Geithner.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That passes 3-0. Commissioners Vanderwerf and Gonzalez are excused. Item number 4.
Item number 4 is consent to appoint deputy district attorneys. 4A, appointment of Eleanor Rear, Mackenzie Thornton, Benjamin Smart, Louis Martinez, and Dylan Becker. Michael Allen, district attorney.
B.A. Allen.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. It's good to see that we have the lady commissioners here today. So that means only the best decisions will be made when they're not encumbered by the males. I do bring before you 4 out of 5 in-person new deputy DAs for approval. We have Ben Smart, who's unfortunately out sick. He graduated from Arizona State University, Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law, and went to undergrad at the University of Oklahoma. He interned at the Maricopa County Attorney's Office in Phoenix, Arizona. And as a fun fact, he is proficient in Hindi and has 6 years of experience in India. Dylan Becker, who is here in the purple tie, undergrad and law degree from the University of North Dakota. He likes the cold weather, I think. Has experience in criminal defense and civil litigation, and has experience as a judicial law clerk. His older brother worked in our office for a period of time, and that's how he came to us by recommendation of his older brother. Then we have Eleanor Rear in the tan jacket. She graduated from Denver University Sturm College of Law and undergrad at CU up in Boulder. Previously worked in our DA's office as a legal assistant and victim advocate in SVU, and she also interned at the Rocky Mount Children's Center. And then we have Louis Martinez on the far left. He graduated from Texas Tech University School of Law, and I'm not happy with him today, although he doesn't know it because his basketball team destroyed the Jayhawks last night. He also did undergrad from York St. John University in England, and he did an externship with the Honorable Magistrate Judge Maskey in Waco, Texas. Did I pronounce that correctly? Yeah, and then Mackenzie Thornton here to my left, immediately to my left. She graduated from the Oklahoma City University of Law and did undergraduate at Emporia State University in Kansas, where she graduated magna cum laude. She interned for our office in her 2L year, and then worked for the Helms Law Firm. So all 5 of these, including Ben Smart, who's out sick, are doing great work in our county court team. They're all doing a lot of trials and learning how to handle domestic violence issues, DUIs, making sure that we're holding line in county court on public safety. And they've all been a fantastic addition to the DA's office. I would ask for the county commissioners and Madam Chair to approve appointment of these 5 deputy district attorneys.
Any comments from our employees? Okay, well, we might put you on the spot up here then.
I think you should.
All right, we will get the trial underway here. Commissioner Geithner.
Thank you. So, there must be something that they teach you in law school about not answering any questions or speaking unless, you know exactly what you're going to say, because it seems to be this is a common occurrence, and I am certain that you are all very capable. It's always interesting to hear the backgrounds. I have the greatest confidence in DA Allen, and I'm grateful that you are here to support our community. I'm sure you are all very aware, but since the public may not always be aware that our DA's office is incredibly busy, the busiest in the state, I believe, unless that's changed recently. And so we are very grateful that you are here to bring justice for our community and make sure that we are continuing to be a very safe community here. So thank you for being here. And the fun question is, what is your favorite legal show? I always like to hear this because I can tell a little bit about personalities. So whoever wants to step up and go first.
Yep, right.
I think that's an easy answer, and I hope everybody concurs on this, but Better Call Saul is truly a great TV show.
I like the original Law and Order. I thought the later ones got a little out there, but the original focused a lot more on the courtroom, and that's my favorite.
I've never seen Better Call Saul, so I can't say that one's my favorite. Legally Blonde. Duh.
I don't know if it's considered a legal show, but for me it would be West Wing because everyone on there are lawyers.
Okay, you win, because that's one of my favorites.
Excellent. Commissioner Williams.
So it's my understanding that lawyers don't like to watch lawyer shows, but I'd have to ask Kenny that. So, okay. Did any of you watch the Super Bowl on Sunday? Oh, okay, we have one who didn't, all right. So, but I didn't used to always watch it either, so I will stand with you for a moment. What was your favorite thing about the Super Bowl? Commercial, score, team? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was not really interested in who was going to win. I'm not a sports fan really, but I liked the closeness of the game and that it went into overtime. I thought that was fun, so.
Okay.
The Dunkin' Donuts commercial was fantastic. The J-Lo and Ben Affleck commercial, I don't know. That was my favorite part of the whole thing.
Okay.
I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I would say the same as Mr. Becker. The game started off really low scoring and it was kind of boring at first, but it really picked up the pace towards the end and was really close all the way through.
So I heard on the radio that the San Francisco coach didn't know how the overtime rules worked. Oh, mistake. My favorite part, of course, was the T-Mobile commercials, and I did not know Aquaman could sing. Oh, wow. Okay, so these guys sound like they'll make it.
Commissioner Geithner, did you? Thank you for being here today. Commissioner Geithner said it very well earlier. We really depend on all of you in making sure that justice is carried out in this community, and you each have your role and your expertise and the experience you bring to this office to round that out is impressive. I've got all your resumes right here, and I continue to be impressed with, with the way you're able to build that department in a way that serves this community with different skills, with different skill sets. So all joking aside, we have some official business to do to appoint you all today, and I'm ready for a motion. Commissioner Geithner.
Okay, I will move approval of these appointments to Deputy District Attorney.
And I will second with a big welcome to the best district attorney's office in the state.
Well said. Okay, the appointment of Ellen O'Rear, Mackenzie Thornton, Benjamin Smart, Louis Martinez, and Dylan Becker has been moved and seconded. I will call the roll. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Geithner.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That passes 3-0. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to point out that the DA's office is in a little bit of turmoil right now. My assistant DA, who's sitting up here, he's a Chiefs fan, and he's still on cloud nine, and we're not getting a lot done because he can't focus on anything the last couple days. Thank you so much for your unanimous approval.
Thank you. Welcome. Item number 5.
Item number 5 is changes, postponements, and notice of the next meeting. I'm unaware of any changes or postponements today, and our next meeting will be Tuesday, February 20th, 2024 at 9 a.m.
Item number 6.
Item number 6 is the consent calendar, inclusive of items 6A through 6G1.
Are there any members of the public wishing to speak on any item on the consent calendar? Hearing none in the audience and none online. Up here for discussion and a motion.
I will move approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
That has been moved and seconded. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Geithner.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That passes 3-0 with Commissioners Vanderwerf and Gonzalez excused. Item number 7.
Item number 7 is comments by elected officials and commissioner liaison reports. 7A, 2024 presidential primary election update. Steve Schleicher, clerk and recorder.
Mr. Schleicher.
Good morning, commissioners. How is everybody today? So I want to come before you to talk about our 2024 presidential primary election. Yesterday is the start of a very busy 2024 for your clerk and recorder's office. Okay, let's see. Okay, so what I want to talk to you all about today is encouraging our citizens to prepare for this election. Our last presidential primary election, we saw a 43% turnout. I'm extremely hopeful that we can go above that, hit above 50%. I want to talk to you also about voting and returning your 2024 presidential primary ballot. And also, voters should be confident here in El Paso County, and also talk about some misinformation. So yesterday, we mailed out over 450,000 ballots here in El Paso County. Ballots began being mailed on Monday, February 12th, to all our Republican, Democrat, and unaffiliated voters. And as you go into a primary, our unaffiliated voters will receive both party ballots However, as I've shared it in the local media, on social media, is please only return one. If an unaffiliated returns both ballots, that vote will not count. In addition, as a suggestion is to give the UPS around 10 days for delivery. If your ballot is not received by February 26, please contact our office immediately at 719-575-VOTE or email us at elections@elpasoco.com. In addition to that, as we also do same-day registration here in the state of Colorado. So you can register to vote or update your voter record at www.govotecolorado.gov. Monday, February 12th, which was yesterday, was the last day to change party affiliation. So we already surpassed that deadline. After February 29th, register or update your registration at a VSPC, which is a voter service and polling center. Citizens may register to vote through Election Day, but are encouraged not to wait. So I want to talk to you also the safest and most expedient option. Colorado, as we all know, is a mail ballot state. We do not have absentee ballots. We have mail ballots. Return early to one of our 39 secure 24/7 ballot boxes throughout the county. Ballots must be received by 7 p.m. on Election Day, which is Tuesday, March 5th. Postmarks do not count. The last day recommended to return your ballot by the United States Postal Service is Monday, February 26th. If you receive a ballot for a deceased family member or a person who no longer resides at that address, I ask all of our citizens to help us out with our voter rolls. What can our citizens do to help maintain our voter rolls? You can actually, on the back of the envelope, mark on there that this voter has deceased or no longer lives at that address. Once that is received by my elections department, then we can remove them from the voter rolls based on that information. Next thing I want to talk to you about is our VSPCs, voter service and polling centers. So we will have a total of 10 VSPCs here at El Paso County for this election. This is where you can go to register, vote, or update your voter record. You can also vote on an ADA ballot marking device and also get a replacement ballot. So I also want to sit there and share with you and talk a little bit about our calendar. So a VSPC at Citizen Service Center opened yesterday. And we will have 5 VSPCs opening Monday, February 26th. They will be located at UCCS, Centennial Hall, the Southeast Motor Vehicle Branch, which is our Powers Motor Vehicle Branch, our Fort Carson Motor Vehicle Branch, and also our Union Town Center North Motor Vehicle Branch in Briargate. We will have an additional 4 VSPCs opening on Monday, March 4th. They will be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They will be open on Saturday, March 2nd, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. The Monday before, March 4th, and on Election Day, our VSPCs on Monday will be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. However, on Tuesday, which is Election Day, we will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We have a list of all the locations that will take you directly where you need to be, where if you just visit our website at www.epcvotes.com. So remember, Monday, February 26th is the last day recommended to mail your ballot in through the United States Postal Service. Ballots must be received by 7 p.m. on Election Day, Tuesday, March 5th, and postmarks do not count. I would also like to share with you, our voters here in El Paso County and throughout the state of Colorado should be extremely confident. We run a number of election testing and audits. We just finished up the public logic and accuracy test that was conducted on February 6th through February 8th, and we finished that up last week. This is a test that is a 5-phase process that involves the Secretary of State, the voting system vendor, and a voting system test lab that is nationally accredited by the Election Assistance Commission, EAC. If you do not pass this test, you cannot coordinate the election. Approximately 723 ballots were tested for this election. The components that were tested was a system function test, a hardware function test, and also an integrity check. The risk limiting audit, which is going to be our post-election audit, gives a statistical level of confidence that the outcome of an election is correct. In addition to that is, with your help, we here in El Paso County installed 39 new ballot box cameras. And Commissioner Williams, I remember you waving at me and we picked it up the last election. In addition to that, we have a new MAR system. What this is a mail assembly and reconciliation system here in El Paso County. This system provides detailed reports and a snapshot of what has been inserted in mail for each extract for the election. So now in El Paso County, I can trace a voter's ballot from the moment it is printed to the moment it is inserted in the envelopes to where it is being transported from our vendor to here to yesterday we unlocked the trucks, and the moment it's dropped at USPS to the moment of delivery in the mailbox of our voter. So we also have the ballot audit tool. My predecessor allowed making ballot images and cast vote records available to the public free of charge to conduct independent audits, and these results are on our website. We are continuing to do the same. So misinformation concerns. I base my decisions based on facts, not hearsay, not embellishments. It's very important to verify information with our election staff to find out what is actual factual. There's going to be a lot of questions in regards to our presidential primary election because we actually have candidates that are on the ballot who in the national news have suspended their campaigns. However, we cannot take them off the ballot because that paperwork has not yet been filed with the Secretary of State's office to suspend their campaigns. So there's going to be some confusion there. What I always recommend to the voters is once that paperwork is submitted to the Secretary of State and we get that information from their office, we will update our sample ballot and make those corrections. But I always ask the citizens to do research. Although these campaigns have been suspended per our media, we will still count the vote. However, is once the candidates have basically said we submitted our paperwork, we're no longer a candidate for the office of President of the United States, those votes will not count. So, one, it is important voters block out the noise from national political chatter that may not apply to our county or our state. Two, educate yourself about our election processes here in Colorado. Three, signature verification. And we have actually began an audit in El Paso County is at the lead of the signature verification audit that we are implementing this election. We have secure ballot drop-off locations. As you've noticed, we sat there and now all citizens in El Paso County can view their ballot drop box. Many vote centers for in-person services. As mentioned, we will have 10 here in El Paso County, and then we will have roughly about 39 or 40 in November for our general election. And we also have same-day voter registration. So, commissioners, in summary, again, Monday, February 26th is the last day recommended to return your mail ballot by USPS, and your ballot must be received by 7 p.m. on Election Day, Tuesday, March 5th, and postmarks do not count. So that is an update. Things are getting pretty busy. We have about 25 election judges that showed up this morning, and we are now visiting all of our healthcare facilities. I'm not too sure if you're aware of that, but we go out there and visit them, and bipartisan judges go out there and assist folks who are in the healthcare facilities who do not have a mailbox by bringing them a ballot and allowing them to vote and bringing that back in a secure ballot box. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions? Commissioner Geithner.
Thank you. So I do have a question. I've been out talking with lots of voters, and I've gotten the question several times about the situation with Donald Trump being on the Republican ballot. Obviously, that's outside of your particular hands, but I was wondering, for the benefit of the public, if you could kind of give us a rundown on what's happening in that situation from your perspective and what they can expect. A lot of people are concerned and asking what's going to happen.
Commissioner Geithner, that is a great question. I am anticipating the Supreme Court coming down with a ruling probably at the latter part of this week. As of today, he is a candidate for the office of President of the United States, and all votes cast for him will be counted. However, based on the ruling from the Supreme Court, if they determine that he is not a candidate, then those votes will not count.
Commissioner Williams.
Okay, so the first question, a voter service polling center, can it be opened with only Republican judges?
Absolutely not, Commissioner. They have to be bipartisan judges. As you will see when you go into a VSPC, or even if you come up to the Citizen Service Center and take a look at the signature verification process, the tabulation room, so either in the Peterson room or Fort Carson room, you will be able to identify who a Republican judge is, or a Democrat judge, or an unaffiliated judge by the color of their lanyards. So it's very transparent. But for a VSPC, you have to have bipartisan judges.
And then just an interesting question, because I saw this commercial on the Super Bowl for the independent candidate, Mr. Kennedy. Is there any way in this primary to vote for Mr. Kennedy?
There is not. In fact,
Okay.
it would be the Republican and the Democrat candidates, and those are the ballots that were mailed out.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner.
Are there any further questions? Excellent. Thank you. You do a wonderful job. I look forward to seeing our election judges and all those who work to make these VSPCs open and operable under the bipartisan support. I love walking in this downstairs door when they're here and just saying thank you for working. We appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you, but it's great to see them fill this lobby over here, and they're great at their jobs. They do a great job of making sure everyone who walks in knows exactly how the process works, protects the confidentiality of that. And I'm just impressed with their professionalism over and over again, and I know that comes from great training from your office and your staff. But we have some great volunteers, and they're certainly a delight to see here for several weeks in a row.
Commissioner, I will share that with them, and I will tell you as the team lead, her name is Isel, and she's a very, very dear lady, and she had nothing but very complimentary comments and say it was so welcoming being here at Centennial. So thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it looks like we have another countywide elected official here. Would you like to make some comments, Mr. Berman? County Treasurer.
Thank you very much. Good job on the update, Steve, and best wishes on the election. So, first off, Madam Chair, County Commissioners, I want to thank you for passing resolution item 6E. That was for our certificates of taxes paid resolution. That document is used by title companies to verify that property taxes are paid before a closing for a home, a mobile home, or for a commercial property. I will give you a little history on that document. It was last updated in 1993. The chairman of the Board of County Commissioners at the time was Chuck Brown, so that's way back. And in that document, it was very antiquated, and it spoke of that users must have at least a 600 baud modem in order to access those services. So we've come away since then. So, and then next, I'd like to update you on the status of our office with regards to tax statements going out. So our tax statements are at our printers. Our printer is a local printer, so we keep that money, we keep that spending here in the community. They'll begin dropping off at the general mail facility starting tomorrow, and they'll be in waves of about 50,000. That's to keep it away from the election ballots that are going out today and the like. So over the next week or so, we will see those going to the general mail facility here in our community and start to go out. So be looking for that in about a week. Give the Postal Service a few days to get that to you. And the reason for the delay, just to remind people who are watching us this morning, is that due to legislative changes, late in November to address the sharp rise in property taxes. There were some things that was changed on property value. There was a $55,000 deduction that comes off, an exemption that comes off the top of your taxes, so to kind of hold the line on some of the sharp increases. So that happened late in the year, and it caused our county assessor have to recalculate those numbers and work with the various geopolitical entities to certify that mill levy. So we're at the end of that line. So they are going out in the mail, so people should start to see them. As I mentioned last time I was here, that 2/3 of property owners have a mortgage, and that tax obligation is serviced by them or their contractors. So that was transmitted to them last week. There are several large vendors that do that for mortgage companies, CoreLogic, Wells Fargo, and others that do that to make sure that what has been in escrow from your mortgage payments every month gets to us in a timely manner. I just want to also tell you that when people get their tax statements, they'll see that credit because of Tabor that our 5 commissioners approved. That'll be $134.08. That comes off the top of citizens' taxes, so that's good for our community. A little bit about the deadlines again. So the General Assembly did not change the deadline as to when payments are due. They're still due February 29th for the first half. However, citizens can make the full payment on, let me get my dates here. They can make the full payment on April 30th, or if they're doing 2 installments, February 29th and June 15th. So if I have any questions?
Commissioner Williams.
I have two questions. So if my hair is a little bit grayer this morning, that's because I did my taxes on Friday.
Okay.
And so I went on and was able to download my statement at treasurer.elpasoco.com. But it may have been user error. I wasn't able to download the previous year's statement, so that would be 2023.
It should be. It should be. At the bottom, there is a place for you to look at past ones. So you can look at your present taxes in a shortened form, and then you can see the PDF, but there is there. But I'll go back and check. You know, sometimes systems get a little wonky. I'll double check that, though.
I suspect it was user error.
Okay.
Something about not wanting to do my taxes.
We'll double check to make sure, okay?
Okay, thank you, but it was very nice. So I went on and I downloaded the 2024, was able to save it on my computer already. So
Very
thank
nice.
you.
Commissioner Williams, did you have another question? Or are you good?
No, that was it. It was 2 questions in one statement, or 3 questions.
Okay.
Never mind.
I have a quick one for you. For that other third of people who do not have a mortgage and wish to pay their tax bill, can you describe the different ways in which they can do that?
So a couple things. So while they can wait for the Postal Service delivered, we do have the ability for people to sign up and get an electronic statement to yourself. And we have had several thousand people that have signed up for that service. So over the years, we want to encourage more and more to do that. That saves on postage and gets it a little quicker. And with the quicker service that email service provides, that brings those revenues into our school districts, fire districts, special districts, and our cities and county a little bit quicker so they can provide for the essential services. You can do your payment one of a couple ways. We give you a return envelope for both payments. So we have 2 return envelopes, one for the first half if you choose to break it up into 2. So you can return it by mail and you can pay by check there. You can call our office and you can make a payment over the phone electronically through your credit card. We also have an IVR system so that if our staff is busy at the counter addressing other customers, that you can automatically do that and it'll pace you through that service of verifying it's you and that the payment and all that stuff. So you can pay electronically, you can pay by check, you can mail it, or you can do it through our electronic system.
Great, thank you. Any further questions? Commissioner Geithner.
This is really more of a statement, and I have talked to a few people recently who've said, you know, even after what the county did and what was going on at the state, I still, my monthly payment, I have a mortgage and my monthly payment went up more than I expected. So just a reminder to folks that if you are trying to figure out exactly what that is, don't forget that most people pay their insurance as well through that escrow account. And so they should take a look at that because there have been huge insurance increases as well. So it may be that you are seeing a lot of the insurance increase. I think the most recent estimate that I heard for Colorado specifically is about a 45% increase, which is pretty significant. So if you're still trying to figure out what's going on in that escrow account and your monthly mortgage payment, they may want to take a look at that statement and not assume that it's specifically tax related.
That's an excellent point, Commissioner Geithner. Insurance costs have went up. I recently got my bill for my car insurance, and it went up rather sharply too. So we're seeing that across the board.
As they often say that this is an area where, you know, inflation, the effect of inflation lags, right, in your insurance rates, and I think we're seeing that now.
Sure, thank you. Great question.
Thank you. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for
Appreciate
having me. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too. Okay, we are still on item number 7. Are there any other countywide elected officials none online? Okay. We'll begin with you, Commissioner Williams.
I actually don't have much today. I was just going to update my schedule. Tomorrow's a busy day with the Opioid Council, then the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments, and then the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority. Also wanted to make the public announcement that on Friday night at the Black Forest Community Center, there will be a Fox Run Nature Center open house. And so I hope that all of the residents that are interested in that process will attend that on Friday evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Geithner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Pretty busy week, starting with the Opioid Council tomorrow, also PPRTA. Of course, we have the State of the Region on Thursday, looking forward to that. Friday, there is a CCI legislative briefing that I will be participating in. And just a couple of other items. I wanted to take a moment to thank the Colorado Springs City Council. I know that they are entertaining a resolution this morning related to the migrant crisis and concerns that we are seeing in our community. And I wanted to publicly update on some information that I was able to receive after the article came out from the Gazette talking about our local hospital, which I think caught a lot of us by surprise. You know, we had initially heard that we thought there were 21 families that had come into our community, and there were some statements made that, you know, this wasn't necessarily a crisis yet. I think we were accused of grandstanding. And what we quickly realized as that information came out, is that actually there's more going on in our community than certainly what I understood previous to that time. And so that article stating that there were 1,200 assumed migrant patients in our hospital system that is putting a strain on our hospital system already was very concerning to me. So in addition to that, I began doing a little bit of reaching out to our schools to find out what they are seeing. I was very surprised to find out that we have hundreds of students since Count Day here already. From only 3 schools, we are over 420 something students since Count Day. And for those who aren't super familiar with how Count Day works, those are students that have come in after the date where it's determined how much money those schools get. So it is a significant burden. We know that there's been 3,000 in Denver, which is a very large number, and is burdening their school system. But I think I was shocked by the over 400 number, and that's only from a couple of our school districts. We have quite a few others, and I'm hoping that they will be willing to share that information with us as well, because I think the public does have a right to know what is going on in our community. So I think that the impact to our community is already larger than what I certainly knew. And I know we're going to work on continuing to get updates so that we can be aware of what is happening and what is transpiring in our community and continue to monitor that. I've been asked, where are folks going? Where are they living? And I think that's a little bit of the frustration that I have, is it's very unclear what's going on in our community, though we do know, obviously, there are some nonprofits that are participating in sheltering folks. But I appreciate City Council's focus on this and looking out for the well-being of our citizens here, and grateful for their leadership on this. Along the same vein, I wanted to point out that there is a law being proposed in the legislature currently. Recently, Governor Polis made a statement that Colorado is not a sanctuary state. I think all evidence to the contrary. There have been several laws signed by the governor in the last few years which effectively make us a sanctuary state. They're tying the hands of local government and making it more difficult for us to deal with this crisis. So one of the laws that essentially prevents our law enforcement from cooperating and interacting with ICE. There is a proposed bill in the legislature now to roll that back and to give our law enforcement the tools that they need to be able to make sure that we don't have criminals being released back into our communities. I think that's very important. I know this board is supportive of that and look forward to encouraging the legislature to pass that bill and make good on those words. You can't just say we're not a sanctuary state. You actually have to put the policies in place. And so I'm hopeful that the legislature will hear that, Governor Polis will hear that, and we will see that bill pass and allow our law enforcement to deal with critical situations to keep our citizens safe here. On a happy note, I just wanted to say, since this board focused in around the terrible tragedies from the terrorist group Hamas and Israel, I was very excited to see that there were 2 Israeli hostages that were rescued. That was very encouraging to me. It's a little bit of good news in the world. I think one was in their 60s, one was in their 70s. And so that was quite a success to see them reunited with their families. So just to end on a positive note there.
Thank you, Commissioner Geithner. I will keep it short this week as well, but I have an incredibly busy week, and I wanted to let you all know about a couple of things and opportunities for you to provide input on various things going on across our state. So I will start with kind of just my calendar. I have PPACG this week. That's Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments, the Pikes Peak Library District Master Plan Group, El Paso County Housing Authority, and then I will be attending a ribbon cutting for UC Health's Mobile Stroke Treatment Center. And then I wanted to let you know about an opportunity to provide your input to our Colorado State Tax Commission. And, originally, we're the most populous county in the state. And originally, the Tax Commission planned these statewide meetings and did not plan one for Southern Colorado or for our residents in El Paso County. Senator Bob Gardner was successful in getting them to add one, albeit it's very last minute. So if you would like to provide any input to our tax commissioners statewide, you can do that at Pikes Peak State College at the Rampart Range campus up off of Interquest this week on Thursday from 5:30 to 7 p.m. So I would encourage you, we have a bit of a, I don't want to use the word crisis, but a real complicated tax issue in the state of Colorado, and the proper board for you to speak to about that is that tax commission. And again, they will have a public meeting in El Paso County, and many thanks to Senator Gardner and his colleagues for insisting that El Paso County be paid attention to on that. With that, I'm also preparing, doing lots of work on the for the State of the Region that both of my colleagues have mentioned. That is Thursday morning at the Ent Center. I do believe that our public communications team has that ready to be live streamed as well. So if you missed out on getting tickets to that, you will be able to get an update on the State of the Region as well by watching our live stream at elpasoco.com. All right, with that, item number 8.
Item number 8 is community service organization reports, and there are none.
Item number 9.
Item number 9 is public comment on items not scheduled on the agenda. This is the public's opportunity to comment on any item that is not scheduled on today's agenda. And Madam Chair, I didn't have anyone sign in prior to the meeting.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on any item not on today's agenda? Okay. If you would come down one at a time, introduce yourself, and you will have 3 minutes.
Okay, good morning, County Commissioners. My name is Jacqueline Armendariz-Unzueta. I'm a voter from District 5. So, I'd like to say that you can't worship the child in the manger, but try to drown the child at the border, and still expect to be recognized as Christians. I find some of the comments today rather disturbing. I am 46% indigenous to North America. Many of the immigrants you are talking about are also have some indigenous heritage to these lands. So frankly, who is an immigrant is up for debate. That said, I'm here today to hold you accountable for the political stunt you pulled earlier this month. I do call it grandstanding. In an election year in which your party is shamelessly trying to get a white supremacist, insurrectionist, likely felon, elected as free leader of the world. This is shameful, and you have a role in that. So I am actually not surprised to hear, Commissioner Geithner, that you knew nothing about the lives of immigrants and undocumented peoples in this county. I have had the privilege of being an advocate for my neighbors in these situations. And I really don't appreciate, just after you had your clerk and recorder here talking about the dangers of misinformation, I don't appreciate you spreading the misinformation that immigrants, that people are somehow a burden to our community. And in fact, you called children a burden. This is misinformation. So is the misinformation that yes, when there is a crisis, resources will be needed, and we must recognize that, the humanity of it all. But again, to say that immigrants detract from our community, that they are a burden, is wrong. So I ask you to heed the advice of your clerk and county recorder and stop spreading misinformation. And I would also like to make a point of fact that I do believe you need to consider that were these children of a different skin color, would this be the same rhetoric that you choose? And in fact, we have a real-time example of welcoming the people fleeing the violence in Ukraine. So I appreciate you considering that. I also want to make a statement that the City Council resolution going on is truly pathetic, and there's more than one citizen here today to speak to that fact. So I have to say no to ICE, Commissioner Geithner, as an extension of systemic white supremacy. We are children of the sun, so we say no to ICE. So once again, children, not a burden, and no human being is illegal, and I don't appreciate the smirk on your face right now, Commissioner Geithner. I hope you all have a nice day.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak today? Thank you. Please introduce yourself, and your 3 minutes will begin.
Good morning. Get this right. Okay, begin. I am also of indigenous descent and Mexican descent as well, and I'm here to stand here 100% support of the BOCC's resolution as a non-sanctuary county. And I'll tell you why. Our BOCC has sworn to uphold the Constitution, and they've also stood here and sworn allegiance to this county to respect the resources of this county. And we only need to look north, south, and a number of ways that resources, local resources, are in danger. And those resources are not something that's minimalist. We're talking about education, we're talking about medical, we're talking about housing. We have a difficult time as it is now helping to support our county needs as it continues to grow. I spoke earlier in great numbers, leaps and bounds, populace-wise. So anyway, I stand here in complete support, 100% support of the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Brenda, could you announce your name?
Brenda Delgado Miller. I'm in District 4.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please introduce yourself, and your 3 minutes will begin.
Good morning. My name is Shayana Dabney. Recently, there was a letter that was circulated among some elected officials. It came from the office of Commissioner Geithner. This letter states that there was a convention of community leaders, including law enforcement, school boards, utilities, Chamber of Commerce, housing, and government communities. She also referred to this as a diverse group of individuals. However, none of the local nonprofits or community organizations that I'm familiar with were called on to seek their counsel or participate in this conversation. As a matter of fact, many of them banded together to write a response to this letter. To be brief, I would just like to say that a lot of these priorities that were highlighted in this letter are not popular amongst the community at large. Just one specific area of concern for the community was of the public safety concerns that were identified. It was to remove the $25,000 in personal liability and to restore qualified immunity for law enforcement officers. If we can only encourage individuals to become police officers if they feel they are protected from acting outside of their purview to serve and protect all citizens, are these truly individuals that we would like to patrol our communities? In all, I would just like to point out that all of our commissioners presently here today do have quite a few things in common, and I would request that we consider maybe what we don't and whose perspectives are not being represented, and inviting them to participate in these conversations so that we are able to form a more representative government and a more perfect union.
Thank you. Commissioner Geithner.
Thank you. So I just want to actually, it's a great opportunity as I was able to speak to the media about that letter in particular. And I just wanted to point out to the Citizens Projects and the folks that signed that letter in the spirit of the tone around talking about misinformation and facts. So actually in that letter, it specifically stated that requiring folks convicted of a crime to serve out their sentence would be undermining elected judges. So I want to be clear on two things. Number one, that would be upholding the sentences of judges. It wouldn't undo anything that they have done. It would just be unholding them so those folks aren't released prematurely. And also, for the benefit of Citizens Project, judges are not elected in Colorado. So maybe that would be a good point of understanding for those who signed the letter.
Please introduce yourself, and your 3 minutes will begin.
Good morning, I guess. It feels like afternoon. My name is Michael Williams, and I am in District 5 now. Regarding the letter that Commissioner Geithner just referenced, we definitely have an understanding that's our job of what judges do and how they're there. Saying that to say, there's a thing called the 96 Crime Bill, which which soared the incarceration rate in our country more than 2 through 10 combined, and primarily that was on the backs of BIPOC folks. What you're advocating for in this letter, we understand what minimum sentencing is, and that's was started and popularized in the 96 crime bill, which this is going back to. That's something that has not shown to be advantageous, right? So something else that's not advantageous is locking up youth as opposed to supporting bills that are at the House currently and in the legislature that are investing in or diversionary programs for our youth so that they have more opportunities and that they're not just being locked up, because there's a school to prison pipeline that has historically been in our country factually, and this is something that's going to amplify that, and that targets a specific demographic of people. Saying that to say, county commissioners have a lot of power. The power that you guys do have at your office is supposed to be something that is respected, and I think most people would if that leadership was used in times that the city has a real crisis. Having, signing or advocating for resolutions to not make us a sanctuary city when we had 28 immigrants that paid out of their own pockets to come to the Salvation Army, and stories that the Gazettes, KRDO, et cetera, corrected based on your rhetoric of misinformation. Our state's not being invaded. Our state used to be the border of Mexico, was purchased in Louisiana Purchase, right? So saying that to say we have many indigenous folks here in our community, and advocating and respecting those people is really should come with this office. Saying that to say, even if you don't feel that immigrants' lives really matter and advocating for that, I think our citizens' lives do matter. January 6th this year, County Commission, City Council had the opportunity to participate and fix a problem that's been long-standing in our community of houselessness, right? Saying that to say, in that time period on January 6th of this year, funny date, the only reason that hundreds of people didn't die in our community due to negative temperatures is because warming shelters were opened by community organizations and community members all over the city. So I think it would be a better use of the office and the stage that you guys have, the power that you guys have to advocate, to work collectively to find solutions of the citizens we do have here, right? 446 people were confirmed at warming shelters that community members opened. Not that county commission, who has plenty of funding authority, can collaborate with the city and county to make sure that there's a proper resolution. So I'd encourage you to use your office the way that you could, as opposed to making it a political theater. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on any item not on the agenda today? Please introduce yourself, and your 3 minutes will begin.
Good morning. Deetra Duncan, Fountain City Council at large, but I'm here speaking on behalf of myself. The last time that I was here, I talked about the fire danger with our homeless camps that are all over our city. I had the opportunity to spend today with Fountain's code enforcement. I spent the entire day, and we did visit some camps that were on the border and they were in the county. And we found several of the camps that had active, they had fire, there were lit fires that were there that were just put out. It was still hot to touch. So I'm still concerned about that, and I would like to be or to initiate or to be on a committee that is with the task force in mitigation of to go ahead of what could happen if there's a fire in our community.
Thank you.
I just want to say I appreciate that this is an issue that is all near and dear to us. I don't think we need a committee, though. I think if you would just reach out to our office, we can work together on what our process is for getting those cleaned up. So I would encourage you, if the folks and the staff at Fountain have not already reached out, let's have those conversations about where those concerns are so that we can deal with it, because I think we're already willing and able to do that.
Right, they are being addressed as far as the cleanup. I'm talking about where do we stand when it comes to if those camps catch a fire, what is the plan for our areas, especially in the county?
Okay, thank you. We will make sure that county administration follows up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any others wishing to speak on any item not on today's agenda? And as you make your way down, please introduce yourself, and your 3 minutes will begin.
Hello. Hi, it's working. All right. Christy Morgan, you guys might know me. I promise you I'm not here this time to talk about Jim Schwerin and his little closet deals with the treasurer's office or how he steals houses from people. And I wonder, though, how his property taxes on all his properties are going down. Everybody else is going up. All his are going down. Weird. But anyway, that's not what I'm here for. And I'm not here for to talk about David Lindeman, who was my public defender on a case that just got dismissed. He's also a magistrate at the county courthouse where I'm facing the exact same charges at the same time, probably 3 weeks apart. He's a judge there, and I just don't get it. It seems like conflict of interest. But I am here because the Humane Society, Animal Law Enforcement, killed my goat. I've had him for 10 years, and I know I talked about him before in here. He didn't do anything wrong. They abused power. They had no probable cause. They kept him healthy for 9 days, and on the 10th day when I was supposed to have my hearing, to show no probable cause, they killed him. They possible seizures. And it says on their website they don't treat large animals. They don't treat, they don't treat large animals. They don't euthanize large animals. But so how do they do it, I wonder? But there's no scrutiny there. There's no internal investigation. I mean, it's everything. Yeah, it's amongst them anyway. So, I have a trial for the animal cruelty charge that that was dismissed through municipal court, but now I'm facing in county court, and trial's coming up in March the 20th. I have yet to get the rest of my discovery. They said that they found more evidence of cruelty in the autopsy report, and I can't get it. And I was told by my public defender that deputy, oh my gosh, what is it? The deputy district attorney, I guess, she can't find it either, he, she, and that name, are you guys familiar with Quincy Yeager, deputy district attorney? Deputy District Attorney, Quincy Yeager is her name. No? I can't find her. I can't find any attorney number or anything, but what I'm getting from my public defender is communication between them two, and it has like the whole symbol below her name that says that she's a deputy, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry. But if she doesn't work for the state of Colorado, then I think it's really strange. I don't know what's going on, but I think that I have a right. I've watched a lot of meetings with you guys, and I know that you're pretty familiar with the district attorneys and stuff, and they're really good here, whatever. If that person doesn't exist, then I think I have a problem. I don't know who I'd report that to. But if Quincy Yeager doesn't exist, then somebody needs to talk to me and tell me what's going on, because my paperwork, she's supposed to be real, according to my public defender. I promise you I have it, so I don't know what to do after this, but thank you.
Thank you. County Administrator Waters, do we have the ability to follow up and get contact information as appropriate?
Yeah, we're happy to do so, yeah, as I understand it.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak on any item not on today's agenda? Okay, hearing none in the room. Any online? Okay. Item number 10.
Item number 10 is the called up consent calendar, and there are no items called up today.
Item 11.
Item number 11, resolution to approve the 2024 annual road maintenance program. Kevin Maston, Executive Director, Department of Public Works. Joshua Palmer, County Engineer, Department of Public Works.
Mr. Palmer and Mr. Maston.
Good morning, Josh Palmer, County Engineer. I am here today to present and to discuss with you our 2024 paving maintenance program. It's something we do every year in preparation for our annual maintenance program, but I wanted to take the opportunity this year to discuss some of the changes that we've had and some of the innovations and new approaches that we've taken that have led us to this list that is part of the resolution before you today. Excuse me. Our objectives for our maintenance program are not to build new roads. Our objectives are to preserve and to maintain the roads that we have, to extend the life, and then by, thus extending the dollars that we have to get as much done as we can with our limited resources. And the way we do that is by optimizing our budget and optimizing our plan to properly preserve and maintain the roads that we are responsible for. Our maintenance program does not change the geometry, does not add to our roads, so the work involved is just maintaining the current infrastructure that we have. Just a little bit of context and background, our paved and gravel road system, and you can see there in 2023, and in parentheses for comparison, our road network in 2022. So we added a few lane miles of our paved road system, and this is directly a result of new roads that were brought into our system due to development. We actually decreased our gravel road network slightly, and this had to do with removing one of our roads in the south that was converted to a private road. One of the big changes that we embarked on in 2023 was a countywide, three-dimensional assessment and inventory of our road system. As far as I'm aware, this is something we've never done in the past, so it was a new effort. One of the things we did do that is new this year was we converted our approach to a pavement condition index. What we had done in the past was a pavement quality index. Essentially the same thing, but the PCI is a more universal and it's a standard metric for determining the condition of our roads, whereas the PQI was more of a proprietary software-specific approach. We used ground penetrating radar, we did a subsurface investigation, we implemented an international roughness index, which is essentially how the road rides, how your suspension reacts to the condition of the road. That's the biggest thing that we're concerned about is how do our roads drive? How comfortable is it to get from point A to point B? We use right-of-way images and true area, something, again, we hadn't done in the past. It took into account the true area of the road, intersections, transitions, the varying widths of our shoulders. And we detailed and mapped every inch and every crack of our roadway system, the thickness, the length, the depth, the direction. Was it transverse? Was it longitudinal? Things that we hadn't always done in the past. So we took all this data and we implemented it and analyzed it and put it into our new Pavement Express, which is the proprietary software that we're now using to come up with our pavement condition index. And one of the things that this new software does is it focuses on optimization versus prioritization. In the past, you may be aware, we talked about cost effectiveness. How cost effective is it? One of the downsides of that approach is when roads get to the point where they have failed and they're no longer necessarily a candidate for preservation or mill and overlay, the prioritization approach says, well, that road is not cost effective. So once roads got to that point, it was really difficult to justify in this prioritization approach going in and replacing a new road. Not to say that it didn't happen, but we found that our dollars in a prioritization approach went a lot further with preservation and upfront maintenance. So you can see here our all-inclusive data and our assessment analyze our roadway network, and our average pavement condition index number rating is 68. So you can see they're just outside of the satisfactory category at the high end of the fair category. So 70% of our roads are in fair to good condition. So these are the roads that we would classify as still in the realm of possibility to maintain and preserve. So if you look at the long-term approach to maintaining our roads, preservation is essential, so we don't get to the point where the roads fail and then they cost 10 times as much to repair. So our optimized work plan that we are working under now defines the budget and the performance scenarios, and it takes into account funding levels, timelines, specific roadway surface types, and allows us to tailor our scenarios to whatever approach we want to take. And the approach that we are taking now, because we feel it has a long-term benefit, is incremental and consistent improvements to our pavement condition. And this allows us, over time, to start addressing the roads that have failed. So our funding scenarios relative to our PCI, like I mentioned, 68 is our average pavement condition index. On average, so historically, minus the last 2 years, historically our primary source of funding has been the PPRTA revenue. Since 2019, our average annual allocation from the PPRTA revenue that is given to us for maintenance, we've allocated about $10.2 million on average per year towards our maintenance program. In 2024 and what's expected in 2025, with the additional one-time funding that the Board of County Commissioners has been able to find and grant to us, we've been able to add to that amount of money that we have and increase, based on current projections and our current scenarios, we can increase our pavement condition index by 1 point per year. After 2025, with no clear identified additional funding outside of PPRTA, if we can continue on this path, using only PPRTA funding, our PCI will start to decrease 1.4, an average of 1.4 points per year, barring any additional funding sources. So last year we had some ARPA funding in additional to the one-time funding that the board was able to find for us. So this is just the projections based on our consistent and expected PPRTA revenue. In 2022 and 2023, like I mentioned, we had additional money that we were able to combine with our PPRTA funding. And because of that, another thing we were able to do was we were able to build up and set up a robust and a long-term sustainable preservation program. In the past, with only PPRTA funding, we did mill and overlay, and we did some crack seal, and that was the extent of our preservation, was crack seal. We started doing cape seals, microsurfacing, wide crack repairs. And because of directly tied to the funding that we received last year in 2023, our surface treatment program received a 2023 CAPA Best in Colorado Award. So combined with the contractor that we had, we were one of a few selected for this award, and it was directly tied to the funding that we got, because without that, we wouldn't have had this program that we were able to set up. So we're already seeing a direct benefit of this one-time funding that we've received in the past and are expected at least for the next couple years. Getting back to the purpose of this resolution, to accept our 2024 maintenance roads list. You can see here our countywide paving program, the distribution across our districts. On average, we're addressing 3% of our paved roads. Not a lot, but it is almost 36 miles, which is quite a bit. And you can see there in parentheses compared to what we did last year. Now, last year we had a little bit more money because of the ARPA roadway funding that we received. And our preservation program, again, almost 105 miles of roads that we're going to be able to impact with our preservation program, which accounts for roughly 9% of our paved roadway network. I mentioned some of the new things that we've been doing in the last couple of years and that we're going to increase in the upcoming years is our innovation process. Cape seal and microsurfacing are two new things that we've done in the last couple of years, and we're going to continue to add to those roads that we are applying these preservation treatments to. Our wide crack repair. The wide crack repair is it's a work in progress. It's always a learning process. One of the things that we do see is what we do on the surface of our roads is only as good as the condition of the material underneath the roads. And the wide crack repairs are something that we are continually to tweak and adjust every year as we are presented with better data of the condition of our roads and what our roads are actually built on. And then dust abatement. We are always researching and implementing and trying new sustainable products to help with our gravel treatment program and our dust abatement to make those that are living in the more rural areas experience a better roadway environment. With that being said, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions or comments? Commissioner Williams.
Yes, so today what we are approving then would be roads within our annual maintenance road program. And then will those be listed on the web?
They will, yep. So we have every year, I think last year was the first year, we have a page specific to our maintenance program. So it'll have all the locations and timelines, relative timelines for all of our concrete work, our pavement work, where contractors are going to be, at what point in the project process they're in. Is that the next project in the phasing? Are they currently working on it? What the timeline is? So there's a heat map that is online on our Public Works page that shows all of our projects for concrete, paving, and preservation.
And as the year goes on, this is more of a budgetary question, but as the year goes on, is there a chance that additional roads will be added to the list?
Yeah, we are usually pretty conservative in our roads list. There's always another road that can move up if we do a good job with our funding, our phasing, if there's additional money, or we're able to be more efficient or effective with the money that we do have. So the list that you have there is the best case scenario that we would expect, but if we are able to add more roads due to additional money or money better spent, then those roads move up in the list.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner Geithner.
Thank you. So I really appreciate the level of detail in this presentation. One of the things that I am really proud that the county has done with great staff all around. So Josh, Kevin, and Brett, just really working towards data-driven decision-making and making sure that we are able to be as effective as possible with the dollars that come from our hardworking taxpayers. And so it's very encouraging to me to see this level of detail, to really see what we're looking at, not only for this year, but for the future. So I want to say thank you to you all for your hard work on this and really trying to figure out how to be the most effective moving forward. We can tell that there's been a emphasis on this from this board over the last few years, and I think that's evident in the fact that our roads are getting better all the time. I also appreciate you pointing out kind of that has to be sustained or we don't continue down the same path. So I very much look forward to looking for ways to make sure that we are able to keep moving in a positive direction on our roads. I didn't know about the award, so thank you for including that as well. And I'll just leave it at that. And
Thank you, Commissioner Geithner. I wanted to also reiterate the data-driven analysis that has led to what I think our citizens can expect of a pretty comprehensive maintenance program for the year. So I appreciate the research and the time that went into truly investigating our actual road conditions and then making judgments and assessments off of that. For a long time here, I think we've been flying a little bit blind or just responding to kind of what was at a failure point as quickly as we could. Now we actually have data that can help direct where we should go next and to prevent it from getting to that failure point. I think that is significant, and I look forward to future years of really kind of getting on top of this with that data-driven approach. Great presentation. Can you go back 2 slides and show the district, that one right there? District 5 has very little, but I want the residents of Park Vista to know that they are on this list. And I appreciate the county continuing to pay attention to that little enclave. It is a well-traveled road, and so super excited that those residents right there can expect that, and glad to see some prioritization throughout the districts. Obviously, both of my colleagues that are here today have a tremendous amount of more county roadway in their jurisdictions, and they hear from their constituents on it all the time. And so glad that we can address those in a data-driven way. The other thing I wanted to point out, and then it looks like Commissioner Geithner has a point as well, both of our commissioners that are excused today were also very excited to see the list of roads that was included in this presentation. You know, we'll do our piece to get this approved today, but I know that both of those districts also were excited about the actual roadway list, again, made based off the decisions made based on the data. Commissioner Geithner.
Thank you. So, you know, sometimes we take for granted when we are here day in and day out that citizens all understand how this all works. So I just want to take a moment to say, I just recently had some citizens talk to me about roads and snow plows, and it's not always clear to our residents that while all of Colorado Springs and the smaller municipalities are inside of El Paso, that we only take care of the roads that are in the unincorporated portion, and that's what this is. So for us we're accustomed to dealing with that and hearing about it, I think that's clear, but for those residents who are living in those municipalities, it may not always be readily clear who is taking care of which pieces. So I just thought we would, I'll take a moment to just say, so this is, as a reminder for citizens, these are roads that are only in the unincorporated, so these are not your city roads, these are completely separate from that. And so just as a bit of clarification on that.
Thank you. Commissioner Williams.
I just had one more thing. First, congratulations. Well, three more things. Congratulations on your award. Thank you very much to all of your employees, especially our snowplow employees recently with 2 storms, both on the weekend. But also I appreciate, and I do have this question nearly every year, why can you not direct all of the money specifically to my district? So, you know, put it all into Glen Eagle.
We did talk about that briefly, but.
Yeah, I know. Well, I really appreciate that because I try to explain to the citizens that we are all one county, and the county doesn't end on Black Forest Road, and it doesn't end at Meridian. It goes all the way out to Rush and Rama and a couple other places, and it's really quite a big county, and so we do need to take care of where we take care of Glen Eagle roads and we take care of Paintbrush Hills. We have to look at other areas in Commissioner Gonzalez's district too that need to be taken care of, and they all need some bit of attention every year, and I appreciate the equality of looking at all of the districts. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, this is an action item, so
I move approval of the resolution to approve the 2024 annual road maintenance program.
Second. That has been moved and seconded. Any further comments? Okay. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Geithner.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That passes 3-0 with 2 very supportive commissioners excused for the day.
Thank you.
Item number 12.
Item number 12 is department and committee reports and non-action items, and there are none.
Item 13.
Item 13 is the addendum, and there is no addendum.
Item 14.
Item 14 is the executive session, and there is no request for an executive session.
We are adjourned.